These guys, once again, they have no morals, and their entire business model, and this, what I'm going to say next, proves it more than anything. TCV didn't even wait 5 days to start to attack us. And we have the proof, and we have numerous testimony on it. 4 days after investing, they were inviting my top 15 employees in their offices and trying to buy them, to put them against me. That's very, very interesting. That proves more than anything that they never wanted to select a good investment because we were a fabulous investment. They wanted to take a stake into an investment and try to steal the value from the people who own it. That's it. That's their entire business model. It's packaged, they use proxies, they will look good, they will present themselves as entrepreneurs, they have no idea what that is, but fundamentally they were just there to steal the value. In fact, a lot of people were not admitted in these meetings because they didn't want to have witnesses. So they are fundamentally criminals. And they were very... Second point, you have a number of ethical standards when you run investment. You shouldn't have any conflict of interest. These people, because they didn't know what they were doing, they were invested in fintech, in different investments. It was a new department for them, so they invested in other companies which were competing with their investment. So in that case, what you do, at least you have a Chinese wall. You don't have the same board member on both boards. You try to have different people in order to avoid the information to be flying from one place to another. They didn't do that. In fact, we know that they used some of the information they heard at the board in their other boards where they had invested more money than in our company. So that's also totally criminal because this information was confidential and they were not supposed to disclose it to the other parties. One of these companies was called LiquidNet. It was a crossing engine. They tried to prohibit us to go into that business because the LiquidNet technology is very poor and they knew we could clean them up in no time. And so they blocked our development in that area, which is also totally unacceptable in terms of corporate governance. Anyway, but for them, the LiquidNet investment was more important because they invested more money there and they felt that was there. In 2010, despite them having given me the authorization to build a separate company to develop this crossing engine, which I was planning to put back into the company because they claimed they didn't want to take the investment risk, so I put my own money in it. They invented a conflict of interest. They were totally aware. I told them all the time. They gave me the authorization, and I did it. In fact, it went so far that they were obliged to sign after a paper saying there was never any conflict of interest, and they did sign it. So they would have not signed if there was any conflict of interest. But anyway, what they did at the time, they corrupted one of my employees, my head of sales, who was on the board, and they put me in a minority position by corrupting also another board member and 2 other independent board members. So just to tell you the way it happened, they called me Friday night and said, Philippe, you know, we have a new office. You should come to visit it. I said, you know, I'm leaving Monday because I have to sign a very large client in Europe. I'm not sure I have the time. I said, oh, we insist, you should come, and so on. So I was an investor. I decided I was going. I arrived at 5 p.m. and I see a board member. I said, what are you doing here? He said, oh, you will see. They put me in a room. There was a board which was organized. I'm the chairman of the board. I was not even aware there was a board. And they told me that they had the majority and they had decided to take me out as a CEO. after corrupting the employee by telling him that he would get my job if he was voting the right way, and corrupting the easily corrupted independents because they just purchased them. In any case, so I came out and they said, okay, so do you want to know your package? And I said, there is no package. I don't care. I just left. They couldn't believe I was not interested in my package. And I said, there is no package. I'm the CEO and I will be in charge. During the weekend, I managed to vote the re-establishment of me as the CEO and a change of board members. And so I took back the control by the following Monday. I forced an investigation on the supposed conflict of interest. The investigation proved there was no conflict of interest and they had to sign on it. So I was back in the seat that I should have never left. But I also left on the Sunday and I signed the third largest client in France. They couldn't believe it. But for me, signing that client was much more important than their political, stupid actions. But they don't understand me, never did, never will.